Today I'm going to do a quick little video, maybe not quick, but a video on our Rockwood 8264 VHS. This is the signature series. I'm just going to walk you through, and we're just going to go through every little thing that we basically made an improvement on over the original build. So I'm just going to start here at the front kitchen walkway area, and we're going to work our way through the camper. Starting it off, we added our little grab handle. This is a cheap little grab handle. It comes in handy because everybody likes to just, grab it, pull it closed. So it's a nice little upgrade if you guys are interested in it. Amazon sells these. I think Camco makes it. They're everywhere. Our second little upgrade that didn't come with the camper is this little screen defender. This is for the little pups that we have here. Each one of these is sized for each door. So we had obviously the biggest one. This is the 30-inch screen defender for when your pups are trying to claw at the screen. You're not going to have a big hole in your screen letting those mosquitoes and bugs in. Other than that, the door pretty much came pretty well equipped. It has that nice little slingshot that auto retracts the screen door for when you're going in and out. Just visualizing down here, we added this little Progressive Industry surge protector. That's an inline surge protector that basically just protects all the components in the event that you have a lightning strike or a brownout or something like that. It'll cut the power and save the camper. Just down here, this is all factory fuse panel, nothing too fabulous in there. If we move up a little bit, I added another little three-way switch here. On the outside, this is my front cap light, and then I moved another set of lights over here for hooking up like our sewer and our gray water, and then basically all our fresh water connections, black tank rinse. And then my third switch I added here, which is going to be for our underglow lighting. That's that little fancy, red, blue, greens, whatever color. This is going to be the power to turn them on. Other than that, this is your normal Wii RV control panel. One little thing I did is I just got the little label maker, and I basically labeled each one of these slide outs so you know which one you're actually operating. So in the event that you're a little tight, you know what one you're actually opening. If you move up, that's just the normal solar controller. It comes with most of these signature series. We just threw this little welcome to the Wiggle Butts. We've had this for a little while, and we just figured that's a nice little touch to it. So panning over here a little bit, as you can see, we got tremendous amount of counter space. This was kind of like a big thing for me. I wanted to have plenty of cooking space, plenty of just throw your junk down space, and this gives you that. So we added another little outlet basically here. I had to kind of drill down through the countertop and grab some power underneath this counter. This is just it's a lot of space here, and there's just always going to be somebody here trying to get something power, either USB or plugging in a small toaster or a laptop. You just wanted to kind of have power here. I know Rockwoods don't put power on really outside walls due to the fact that it's just too small to really put an outlet there. So I made that little upgrade, and I think it's going to work great for us. Moving up here, we got our additional sound bar. This is added in by myself, and then I kind of ran the wires up into the TV, and basically this will just help improve the sound. This is a 2.1, so it's got the sound bar, plus behind the little recliners there is the subwoofer, and that's just going to help with those movie nights or rainy days when you're just stuck in the camper. Everything pretty much here is all standard. Every camper comes with one of those. Moving on down here, what we did and what we decided was we blanked off the knife holder. I've seen a couple of good videos of people taking this empty space and making a little pocket down there with a little flip up. It's kind of like a hidden storage. But for us, because of the way this flips up, we just figured, you know, if you had a whole bunch of knives in there, that's going to be in your way and it might jam it up. So we don't want that glass coming down on me when you're actually cooking. So always make sure you keep this down too on your guys' travel days. Our other little cheap dollar store, basically it's just your utensil hook hangout, and we just pop that up there, so it's an easy quick little grab for doing whatever cooking you're doing. Moving down here, you can kind of see we did a nice tint on the windows here to help with privacy and just the sun coming in. I have another video that we have posted, and basically it shows me kind of doing more of the window tinting. If we go down here a little bit, I'm going to open this cabinet up. This is our DVD player. We added that in. The TV is basically a Wi-Fi TV, Bluetooth, so every camper nowadays is all about streaming. So we kind of like the old way of having a DVD player. So I added this DVD player in. I got one of those little wire shelves, kind of mounted that up in there, kept it high so we had plenty of cabinet space for whatever knickknacks and appliances that we might want to stick in there. So that's all tied into the television, and it basically works whenever you want to watch a DVD. Under here is that fake storage box, but it's basically just for your furnace. I added a little small diffuser for this basically heat outlet, because when these two outlets are pushing so much air out, it kind of sacrifices a little bit of the rear air. So I wanted to dial this one down to help push a little more to the back bedroom area. So that's just a quick little thing. Your oven's all about the same there. Coming around, we did a little bit of an upgrade under here. So I basically walled this off. This was actually kind of like a little midway pass through storage, and I kind of wanted to keep that separated. It's not fully sealed, but it's 90% sealed, and that way anything in here is not going to get mixed in with your outdoor storage. We added this nice little pull-out trash can. This was not part of the whole package, but we threw that in. The can was part of the purchase, but the pull-out trash can holder was not. So I just, built it up, made it work, and it actually, it couldn't be better. We really lucked out with that, so that's nice. We'll probably throw a little bin storage here for our, trash bags, little cleaning supplies, all the normal stuff, and we'll just, pop that in there when we get all loaded up. All these are just the typical, drawers. Everybody gets these. There's nothing special about that. I think the 2024 and the 2025s, they gave you the nice little, basically utensil holder, so you can kind of organize whatever you got. We got a couple little things in there right now for junk. We added our little paper towel holder. Everybody, has different opinions on these. They like the ones that sit on the counter. We just had this and we wanted to use it. Why waste more money? In here, another thing we added was these little bumpers to the handle, so that way it wouldn't contact. This is glass on the refrigerator, so we didn't want that to basically, bang that and accidentally crack it. So in here, I basically added some extra pieces of plywood to help keep the rigidity of each shelf a little bit stronger. Down in here, we did some work. I have posted a picture of a before and after of what this looked like. But this is basically your water filter area. This is your water pump. When you do some winterization, you kind of got to get in here. So I really just cleaned this up. This was really a big mess of hoses and wires, and it was not a happy place to be. But for now, everything's neat and organized. You can get in there, you can service it. Everything is easily, accessible. So that's just a little upgrade and improvement that we added. The refrigerator area is basically the same. Everybody shows you this. It's just a nice pull out refrigerator or freezer. This thing stays pretty cold even off. Like, I mean, we've had it off and it's still like it's 60 degrees. Obviously that's not food safe, but it doesn't get really hot in there. This thing, even being off, stays kind of cold, so that's good. It's a 12 volt, so it'll basically work really, really well, even on the days of travel. Just another little pull-out drawer, nothing special there. Here's our back of our, basically our little dinette recliner area. These are the windows that I tinted, and it just helps keep the sun from beating in on you, like I said in another video. So we're back. We're moving on through the camper now. We left off at the two recliners there. This is basically like a living room / kitchen, total hangout area. This is where everybody pretty much spends most of their time once they're awake. Coming on back through here, these are where we made a couple of changes. Now, I want to just say, before you guys get into really like totally remodeling your new camper, you kind of have to have a little bit of mindset. Is this camper going to be one that you guys are going to hold on to for a while? Because I say that because what will happen is if you really start changing stuff around and you're within that first like 5 years, when you go to like say you're going to trade this back in, a dealership's really going to downgrade your value because you've kind of taken the camper and rebuilt it in a way that it was never designed for. So they're going to, you know, kind of like really give you a low trade-in value because of the modifications that you made. Even though they were good for you, it might not be good for the next person. So anything you kind of take out of this camper, you want to kind of hold on to it in case you gotta put it back and make it the way it was when you guys got it. So we kind of went into this knowing, you know, that we were going to do what we wanted to do here for our two little fur babies, and everything I've done is reversible. There's nothing like cut or hacked out that I can't put back to make it back to factory. So if you come in a little closer here, this used to be a two-person small little dining table, basically a little table with two seats, and this was pretty nice. It was very comfortable. There was a seat here, a little table that kind of slid down, and this actually made it into a little small bunk, so if you needed sleeping space for a child or, you know, a smaller adult, they could fit here. You know, they give you the USBs, they give you the outlets, you get a little window, you can crank that open. Basically, we needed space for our two little dogs, so we have another crate that's going to fit right here. It's the identical one to this one, so this area is basically going to be for them. We wanted to have a spot for them that would not take away from our normal usable space once the camper was all opened up. So just giving you a little, you know, modification there of what we did for that. Under here, if you guys have this camper and you don't do this modification, I just want to give you a little secret space, kind of like identifying a secret hidden space that they just block off. So this little thin piece of plywood basically just went there and it was screwed down. So when I unscrewed it, there was a nice little cavity of space that you know, you could put, you know, those items that never really get used, but you have them there in case, you know, you ever have a big party or something and you pull out, you know, an extra sleeping comforter or blanket or sheet or whatever. You can just kind of stow stuff down in there, you know, the oddball, not used all the time type stuff. So that's just a simple little thing. You could put a piano hinge there and use that. We're still kind of deciding what we're gonna put in there, but we haven't loaded the camper up just yet for camping, but we're gonna get there. And then up here, same thing. This was just basically a nice little mattress. It had a ladder bracket here, and it came with a ladder. You could climb up. One person lay up here. Another USB, and it's got a light back here for if you need a light for just reading or hanging out. I wouldn't put a big person up here. An adult really shouldn't go up here. This is kind of, it's okay. I've climbed up here, but I would not really put anybody over 100 pounds up here, because it's not built to be super strong. It's just enough for like a little child. Again, we did the window tinting here. That's just to help keep the sun rays at bay, keep the UV light from fading out any of our items that we might have up there, and just trying to keep the camper cooler overall during the summer months. I'm going to pan around here and we're going to show you the bathroom a little bit. Going in here, it's a little snug. So in here, again, this is a nice layout of a bathroom in my opinion. The toilet is straight against the wall. It's not, on an angle. You still have plenty of sitting space. You can kind of, do your thing. What we ran into was, where do you put the toilet paper holder? So basically what we kind of came up with is we popped it in here. So you can still kind of open that door. It's right there, and then it goes right in there. It's all hidden. This is just basically under the sink storage. There was a lot of your, basically, I guess what you call it is your electronics and everything like that are all hidden behind this cabinet. Your hot water heater is behind here. You have to lift this up to kind of see in there, but that's where you service your hot water heater, your valves and everything. They normally keep this door locked or with the screw, so nobody accidentally opens it up. But that's basically that part. We really love the countertop amount of space you get in here because of just all the junk everybody normally brings. Toothbrushes, hand wash, soaps, towels, whatever. You have plenty of space for that. Our light switch basically kind of lights up this place pretty good. You have the max air vent fan up there. That's standard. The medicine cabinet is a nice medicine cabinet. It's got the nice shelves built in. And then a couple of extra little cabinets up here for your towels, your extra whatever, toilet paper or bathing suits, whatever you keep with you. Coming into the shower, I just want to say that you have plenty of height here. So if you're a taller fella or a girl, the height is not going to be the problem. It actually has decent shelves here that you can put some soap on or shampoo, and they're not going to slide off. Now, this is just thin plastic, but at least a lot of campers give you this little tiny shelf, and it's kind of angled and stuff falls off. So they normally do those little hanging mesh baskets where you can put some stuff. But since these are kind of nice and flat, we kind of went with just that. And then having the seat in here is kind of nice too. You got to take in consideration that you're not just going to be sitting in here basking in the hot water, because you're going to run out of hot water pretty fast, and you're going to be jumping out of this thing before you're getting all hot and relaxed. But overall, the shower is nice. The floor is supported, so it's not going to like flex and cause a leak in the drain. If you're a little bit heavier, it's going to hold your weight. They definitely put some extra bracing under there so it's not flexing on you. All the Rockwoods and Flagstaff models come with the little shower miser thing. That's to recycle the water until it gets up to temperature, and then that turns white. Now, don't use this if you're hooked up to city water, because what will happen is you will push water back to your fresh tank, and you'll continue to fill that fresh tank up, not knowing it. And then basically what will happen is you'll be driving down the road and you'll be having a lot of water in your fresh tank, and you could stress that fresh tank or cause a blowout, because they never really say to ride around with 100% of your water in your fresh tank. So only use this if you're boondocking. All right, we're gonna go down the hall and back out a little bit here. So moving on back here, this is kind of like the bathroom / dog area and our little storage. We're thinking about doing a little maybe bins or however our stuff lays out, we'll kind of improve it as we go on. Moving on back in here, this is the bedroom area. Kind of really like this for the east to west bed. They just give you so much more walk around room, making the bed, getting in. It just, to me, it makes it more like home. We had a camper before. It was a very stressful, it was a north to south. It was very stressful to get in and out of the bed. There was only a little bit of space like this on this side. The other side, you had to crawl over the bed. It really made it frustrating to make the bed, get in it and out of it. So this has alleviated all that. We have tremendous amount of space now. It was one of the big selling factors for myself, or to buying factors, not the selling factors, but the buying factor to get a model like this, so that way it makes it just feel roomy in here, so you can get around. Going back in here, what we did, a little bit of an upgrade. Normally you have the little map lights, but what I did was I added these little small puck lights, and instead of having this little like antenna thing hanging down where you might bump your head at if you were trying to get up out of the bed, now it's all flush. I retained the little USB charger though, so that way if you have a a little cell phone and you need to charge it. I want to comment one little thing. Everybody talks about these CPAP machines. Now I get it, there's a lot of people that need CPAP machines, but almost everybody comments about having a shelf for a CPAP machine. I just think it's funny. I just wanted to add that in there. We have two little small end shelves here, but I don't think a CPAP machine will fit on there. But just wanted to say that we're not going to be using a CPAP machine. You do have another little one here if you had to really put one there. There is an outlet 120, which is inverter capable. So if you're off grid, you can run off your batteries with the inverter. So this is basically pretty basic. We kept the factory mattress. Under here, I'm going to pop a couple videos in the clip. So Rockwood and Flagstaff do a really good way of framing out their bed frames with the aluminum. That's kind of like what they're known for doing. If you come down here, you can see all these supports, basically just to help give the bed a little bit more strength, so when two people are on here, it's not going to bow and flex, and they have their cross members. So that's very good. One little area that I would say it still needs a little bit of support added, if Rockwood's watching. Under here, I added this 2x4, and then at the very head of the board, which I'll show in a picture, I added two more 2x4s because it was kind of flexing a little bit there, more than I would like it to. So I just added some 2x4s across there to help keep the support just toughened up. You know what I mean? We didn't want any cracking because this is only like a thin Luan, over top of this aluminum. Everything's got to be kind of built light, but we do want it to be strong. So just a quick little shot of that. This is just, a lot of extra storage under here. Maybe some extra shoes or boots or a comforter. The outside storage is right there. So if you ever had to get anything, maybe you could reach that. So that's basically the bed area. Moving around here, I want to just show you guys this this wardrobe. Again, this thing is just massive. What's nice is they give you a couple of the shelves for clothes or extra towels and things like that. Everything's on magnets. It's super nice. This is a real nice idea, if you ask me. Look at how it fits a shirt. You know what I mean? It fits a shirt, a jacket, a pair of pants. You have plenty of his and hers. I mean, it could be all hers and just one drawer for the guy. But basically, a lot of times you get this little tight thing and it's not even, and your clothes are all jumbled up like that. And I get it, space is tight in some campers, but I mean, this thing, it blows it out of the park. So that's just that. Down here, I added in a little wire shelf. Basically, we put this here so that way, I think what we're going to do is probably put our shoes in there, and this will just help give you a little bit of, doubling up your space for that. But this was just a little bit of extra modification improvements that we did. If you had a small enough like shoe shelf, maybe you could put that in there. A lot of people do bins, but that's just that. And then these two drawers, same thing. There's nothing too special about this. This is just another little, maybe a his and hers or hers and hers type of clothes storage. But other than that, in here, this camper is pretty well equipped. I mean, we had the dual ACs being 30 feet. We have like 2 tons of cooling for this whole thing. A lot of people will ask what this little black thing is. That's going to be basically your temperature sensor for the room that basically the AC is looking for. There's your heat vent. That's the vent that I was talking about, basically giving a little bit more airflow. That's why we put that diverter in the front there to help push a little more air back here, so that way you're not freezing in the bedroom and sweating in the kitchen.